What's up, guys? Welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird, back here with another rapid review for you. Once again, I managed to clock in another Netflix horror movie, so I figured I'd go ahead and do just a little quick review of it for you guys, tell you a little bit about it, let you decide if you want to take the time to watch it or not. But the movie I'm going to talk about today is called Here Alone, and it is essentially a take on the post-apocalyptic setting. It is one of the more slow post-apocalyptic things. It's not unlike It Comes at Night, except that it actually did come eventually. I don't know how you want to take that, but the threat here is basically it's a post-zombie epidemic world, but they're fast-moving zombies, so not your typical Romero zombies, R.I.P. But yeah, this story revolves around a woman that you start the movie off with. She's living out in the middle of the woods and just sort of making do, and she's not interacting with society, and they don't say expressly why for a little while. But they essentially start cutting back and forth between what she's doing now and what we are to assume is the past leading up to this, where she is actually on the run with a husband and a child. And it starts off right at the beginning of it, and they go on the run, and then it keeps cutting back and forth to present day, where she's trying to survive alone, and the past, when we're finding out how she got to this point. So the movie continues like that, and then about a half an hour in, she meets two other survivors, a young or mid to late teenage girl and a probably early 30s or late 20s man who is her stepfather, the girl's stepfather. And at first, it's the whole same thing we've seen. Again, It Comes at Night did a little bit of this, and The Walking Dead has done it tons of times and very well, where it's, do you, as a survivor in this zombie apocalypse where even humans are not necessarily, trustable, do you trust these new survivors and what they're telling you, and that they're not going to try and take your stuff, especially when they clock all of your stuff as soon as they walk in? They're like, oh, you got a car, you got 2 campsites, you have a tent. Some people would kill for this kind of thing. It's like, okay, it's very obviously trying to MacGuffin us, or that's probably not the term, but it's trying to make it feel like, there's going to be danger when there might not necessarily be. And so, again, the whole movie is this main female trying to decide whether or not she wants to trust these two newcomers. And eventually she does, and the drama starts to unfold a little bit, but not as much as you'd want, unfortunately. Because there's really only just these main characters, these 3 characters. There's her husband from her flashbacks and their child, but otherwise it's just her and this guy and the younger girl for pretty much the whole movie. And so that's the struggle, you guys. That's the story of it. Does she trust them? Does she not? And what happens if they ever come up against the threat of the world, which are the fast-moving zombies? Which brings me to the part of the story that I was not a fan of, and that's the fact that we didn't even get a look at any zombie until a half hour before the end of the movie. And they weren't so spectacular that it warranted not showing them. I mean, it was a filmmaking choice, I'm sure, and it was just focusing on the solitude of the movie and the possible threat that's out there. But at least we eventually got zombies, whereas It Comes at Night, we never really got anything. This one was a little bit better that way, although the way the drama unfolded was pretty predictable and just annoying to watch. It was just, and you'll know what I mean when you watch it, if you watch it, but one of the characters was just frustrating and just made choices that you're just like, come on, that's, maybe they would make those choices, but it's just so despicable and annoying and ridiculous, and it just became more frustrating than anything. And the end, I'm not going to spoil it, but the end again was like, I guess they were trying to go with an artistic ending, but it doesn't even make sense considering the events that led up to the very end. So I don't know. It was an unsatisfying ending. It was pretty much an uninteresting movie. The acting was good. I gotta say the acting was good for what they were, but they're all roles that we've seen people do before. You know, the solitary, solitary liver. The sole survivor of something who is living out alone and, builds these walls both emotionally and physically, so to speak. And, what happens when people she can't trust come across her. And it's stuff we've seen before, like I said, many times on The Walking Dead, numerous times in other zombie films, and even non-zombie post-apocalyptic films we've seen this played out. So it's just nothing new. That's the problem that I have with it. It's nothing new. The effects are okay when you get them, but there's just not enough to make it really that interesting. It's just a bunch of gore makeup effects, but there's so few and far between, and even when we get the zombies, there's not that much of that. So, I can't even say that was a saving grace for the movie. I think you could probably call it a PG-13 horror movie. There's not enough gore that I think it would ruin it, but or at least ruin anyone too young to see a PG-13. I think this would be fine, but overall, I guess it's an okay effort. I would give it like 2.5 stars out of 5 if I had to go on a 5-star scale. About halfway there. It's just okay. It's nothing worth writing home about, nothing I'll ever watch again, and nothing I'll recommend to anyone. But it's nothing terrible either. So if you like what I described, a post-apocalyptic zombie movie without zombies until the last half hour of the movie and played out human drama that we've seen before in other films and TV shows, then hey, maybe this one's for you. So that's gonna do it, you guys. Thanks very much for watching. As far as I'm sorry, I'll mention the music real quick. The sound design was okay, not even that spectacular there, but the music was okay too. Again, nothing spectacular. That's why I didn't mention it in the main review. So there you go. If it sounds interesting, watch it. If you have seen it, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. If this makes you more or less interested to watch it, let me know that too. I'd like to know if I'm having any sort of effect on what you guys do or do not watch. But you keep watching these, and I'll keep subjecting myself to possibly good, possibly bad films. But until the next one, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.